Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Mindful SRNA or RNA podcast. It is now May when I'm recording this. I did not get any podcast episodes up in April. April is just like literally 3 birthdays of ours, and it's just like insane. And it was Easter, so super fun. So I just took the month to enjoy it and do all the good things. But I am back, and I am actually working on an episode that I'm really excited about. It is all about dealing with difficult personalities in the OR. So I'm super excited. I don't know if I'm gonna make it a 2-part yet or whatever, but I'm putting that together now because we coach on it all the time. And I'm really excited about the episode. I want to get it right, get it tight. So I'm working on that. But in the meantime, you know what? I had all these FAQs. I recently did a live and I got a bunch of questions. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to hop on the podcast, answer these questions. I will link the resources and the things that I talk about in here. So you'll have them in the show notes or on YouTube in the comments or below the description, whatever. But I was like, you know what? Let me just do this. And if you guys like these kinds of episodes, you can email me, Amanda, KAYonline@gmail.com. You can comment, you can find me on Instagram. All my links and everything are in the show notes below. But if you like this kind of thing and it's helpful, or you want me to go deeper on a particular topic, like just let me know. I'm here to help y'all out. So I figure let's get this episode up. I'm also going to probably get a couple of the lives I've done that have really helped people and put those on the podcast as well, just so they're more accessible and you can find them and have them and listen, all the good things. Okay. But if you're just tuning in, I'm Amanda. I've been a CRNA since 2017. So coming up actually this month, 8 years ago, I started working as a CRNA. All right. I graduated in December of 2016, passed my boards about a month later. I went to Rhode Island College, St. Joseph's School of Nurse Anesthesia. And since graduating, I've done W-2. I've done a mix of W-2 and 1099. I work completely 1099 now via my S Corporation. I've got a couple podcasts that I talk money about that as well. And I'll talk a little bit more about that stuff when I answer these questions, because these are a lot of questions I think a lot of you guys have. The first few questions are going to be more tailored toward those who are trying to get into CRNA school. And then I'll answer some questions for those who are already in school. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. So the first question somebody asked is it worth it to do mock interviews? And actually, lucky for y'all that are prepping for interviews, I actually just put some new videos up on my YouTube channel on prepping for interviews. So definitely check those out. There's like 4 or 5 videos up, I believe, there. Okay. So is it worth it to do mock interviews? I mean, yes, I do them. A lot of people do them as well. You don't even have to pay somebody to do them if you don't want to, but definitely do them. You can have friends and family. You can record yourself on your phone or record yourself on Zoom, practicing answering questions. I talked about this in the video, just like athletes watch back their game, watch back your videos. What can I do better? What did I like about it, right? Watch to improve, not to self-shame. Okay. But yes, practice. You have got to practice answering the questions out loud, even though we don't know what they're going to ask you, right? There's a million things they could ask you, but there's a lot to be said about just practicing answering questions on the fly. It's strategic. It is 100% worth your time. And it also begins to help build up the confidence in your brain to understand that, like, yes, this is scary and I'm jumping into the unknown here, but it's also okay. And I can do hard things and I can be uncomfortable and still show up powerfully. There's room in your body to be nervous and to also be powerful at the same time, because you do it all the time at work when you're in crazy situations, right? So you can apply that same type of thing to your interview. You can be nervous, but you can still be extremely effective and powerful. And I really feel like practicing however you do it definitely helps. The number one thing I hear after a mock, oh my God, I feel so much better that I did this, right? I feel like I can breathe. So practice. Okay. Practice. I totally think it's worth it. Another thing I want to say, a little side note here, when you're studying for potentially having clinical questions in your interview, do not sit and stare and read all day. Because what happens is I can tell when people have been studying, but they haven't been practicing saying stuff out loud. And I had this problem when I was in clinical. I would study all this stuff, and then I'd go to clinical and they'd be like, how does the neuromuscular junction, like, what's the anatomy of that? And how does rocuronium work? And I was like, I'm like, can I draw a picture? So it is one thing to look and read and understand. It is another thing to be able to articulate that. So even for those of you who are in CRNA school, like whiteboards are your friend, right? Easels are your friend. Practice teaching and talking out the content out loud. Okay. You have to work with the information, even if you're in CRNA school in any capacity, play with the information, draw it out, engage with it. Okay. Unless you're like a super genius that just reads something and has it. I wish, but I'm not. You've got to work with the material. Okay. So after you review a concept, get a little whiteboard or a piece of paper, teach it to yourself, say it out loud, study with some kind of buddy or something like that. Okay. Because again, I'm like, how does propofol work? And it's just like, oh my God, Amanda, I just looked at that. I'm like, I know. So practice saying it out loud. Okay. Okay. There's that question. Next one. I have a low GPA. What do I do? First of all, you got to know where you're going. Start looking at potential schools that you want to attend. That's the first thing I tell anybody to do. What schools are you potentially going to applying to and what do they need? What do they require? What do they require as far as retakes? Are there certain classes like statistics or biochem they want to see? So that's number one. You got to know where you're going. Look at those schools, see what classes they may or may not recommend, touch base with the schools, say hi, introduce yourself, network, all the good things. But kind of a simple rule of thumb is retake any science classes you might have got a C in. And other classes, organic or biochemistry, advanced pharm, advanced physiology, basically showing your ability to handle high level classes. I know a lot of people even ask about, do I get a master's degree? Do I go get my NP? Do I do all those things? That is definitely a case by case basis. There's really no umbrella answer. It depends how low your GPA is. Have you even started applying to schools? Have you seen how you've stacked up? Have you taken the GRE? Even taking the GRE and getting greater than a 300 could look at. You can look more at schools that maybe they look at your last 30 or 60 credit hours, okay, and not like the whole picture. Just depends. Every school is very different, so you have to get very clear on where you're applying to and then your unique situation, okay? But I mean, some people do spend the money and get master's degree and get other things to show they can handle it. I don't think you always have to do that, but again, it's a case by case, case by case basis, okay? But I'm all about action and moving forward. So take some classes, apply, put yourself out there, see what happens, right? You never know. You could get an interview, right? And then if you don't get an interview, go back to the drawing board, evaluate, tweak, repeat, right? That's like the whole process in my program, right? Because when you're applying, you're just getting information. That's it. It's not, are you worthy enough? Are you good enough? No, it's none of that. It's a process. Sometimes it's a slow burn, but you're never going to know until you just put yourself out there. Okay. And I want to say again, there was a lot of people who have gotten previous degrees and it wasn't their passion. They didn't do well in it. Maybe you partied your way through school. Maybe life kicked you in the butt through college. You got to look like things happen and these people are still getting in. So there is still completely 100% hope for you, even if you struggled in nursing school, right? So life is always going to happen. It's going to happen in CRNA school. It's going to happen as you're applying. It's not a death sentence. It's okay. Do the work. Get those applications in, focus on the unique value and the impact that you bring and you want to bring to the CRNA table. And again, like I said before, reach out to schools, network, go to conferences. AANA RNs can join and go. It's freaking amazing, right? Engage with the profession. In your personal statement, own up to the poor grades, take accountability, take responsibility to what happened, and then focus on how you're improving them. Focus on the growth, right? Focus on how you will be an asset in their program. Okay. But just get started. Get started with something, do something, apply, get information, start the process, tweak it, and keep going. Okay. We do a lot of this in my roadmap program where I give you a lot of strategy, but I also give you a lot of tools for mindset. You get a lot of growth in there and it's a lot of fun. Okay. So just throwing that out there. All right. Next question. How do I study for the GRE and the CCRN? So I will post the links to personally what I recommend because I've seen people utilize these programs, but GRE Matt, I think is a very good source. He's got a bunch of free stuff and there's also some paid stuff as well. Barron's for CCRN, Nicole Upchuck. There's another one I got to find out too. I'll post the link as well. There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of great people and things out there. Choose one and stick to it. Okay. CRNA school, and right now, as you're getting ready and doing your apps, it's about making what you have work. And it's not about chasing the next best thing and collecting all the stuff. We love collecting knowledge. We love it. It makes us feel like we're productive. Okay. No, pick one, make it work for you. And the biggest thing I also have to say with that is create a reasonable study plan. All right. As soon as you're eligible, you meet the hour requirements to sit for your CCRN, or even if you're going to take the GRE, schedule the date, put it on your calendar, right? Move your work schedule around it and make a reasonable study plan that works. When I say reasonable study plan, give yourself some margin, give yourself some wiggle room for life to happen. You're not going to do cardiac and pulmonary in one day. Okay. It's just not going to happen. And why would you do that to yourself anyways? Okay. And also start with some subjects you love. If you love pulmonary, start there. All right. If you love GI, liver stuff, start there, right? Whatever it may be, or something you're comfortable with, start with something you like and you enjoy, and then tackle a hard subject and kind of go back and forth. Okay. I say this studying for CRNA school too, as well, when you get to the C and the NCE, right? Yes, you can also start with the big, hard, scary thing first, but sometimes give yourself a little bit of a win. Okay. Do something you enjoy for a little bit too. Okay. Margin, margin, margin when studying. And I'm going to say another thing too. Do not stack 1,001,000 things together when you're trying to get in CRNA school. You are going to burn out. That's what I did. And I burned and churned all the way into CRNA school. It's a freaking disaster. Okay. You can do that. It worked. I mean, I got the job done, but it wasn't pretty and it wasn't sustainable. And I'm definitely not teaching and coaching because I churned and burned. Okay. But you guys, getting into CRNA school is a process. Getting through CRNA school is a process. So if you need to retake classes, do your CCRN, do your GRE, and then you're like, well, I probably do even more certifications because no. Start with what you need. Start with what you have to do to meet the requirements. Just meet the requirements first. Then we can talk about boosting your GPA, but look at your schedule, look at your life, and create a reasonable schedule when you are doing all these things. Okay. Live your life while you're working towards becoming a CRNA. If you don't hear anything else and you just turn this podcast off right now, live your life while you're also working towards becoming a CRNA. Breathe. Okay. Okay. Next question. How do I secure shadowing? I know that can be tough. And guys, I know I used to offer a lot of shadowing. People would fly out all the time. However, I work in so many different places. My schedule can change the night of, and a lot of places I go to don't let people shadow. So it's really hard to have people shadow me right now. Otherwise, yes, I used to be able to do it all the time. And who knows, maybe I'll be in another role at some point and I'll be able to. But shadowing is, I first say, obviously, contact the anesthesia department of where you work. Ask for the chief anesthesiologist or CRNA. Ask if they do shadow days. If they come up to your unit, talk to them, right? I mean, networking is huge in this profession anyways, okay? So talk to the CRNAs or the docs that come up to your unit. Obviously, we have social media. We have Facebook pages. Go to conferences. You can call facilities that you're willing to travel to and ask. And again, it's all about being professional. And I think I've said this, I say this a lot. Don't be so focused on what you want to get from somebody. Focus on what you can give. All right. So when you go out there, remember your why. Why do you want to be a CRNA? Why do you respect CRNAs, and approach from that vantage point, right? Because anesthesia is a very tiny community, right? So introduce yourself. Ask a little bit about them. Would they have time for someone to shadowing? Like, it's all about in your approach, right? What can I give, not what can I get? So genuine interest in them, in their hospital, have some knowledge about the profession, right? So it's all about in your approach, but definitely make phone calls, leave messages, be persistent, right? And be professional, and just focus on connecting and networking, and the opportunities will fall. Okay. They will happen. All right. But definitely, another thing people always ask, I'll throw this in here too, is I usually say if you can get at least like 24 hours of shadowing is good. I mean, if you can get 3 8s, even a 1 12-hour shift, 2 8s, I mean, really, if you can get a day of shadowing, take it, right? And always journal after your shadowing experience. Journal like from the 5 senses. Like, how did you feel? The taste, the smell, I mean, I say that in a way, I mean, it doesn't smell good in the OR. It's like burning flesh. But anyways, what I mean is like, be very reflective. What did you see? What do you understand the role to be? What characteristics do CRNAs have to have? Like all of those things, right? Soak it in, journal, be able to talk about the situations you saw from pre-op to induction to maintenance to emergence and wake up to PACU. Like really, you really want to show that you understand the role of a CRNA inside and out. So absolutely journal your shadowing time. Okay. Okay. Little bonus there. Okay. Question. Should I work independently out of school? Should I do locums right away? Guys, it's your choice, right? It's your choice. You get to decide. You get to choose. What do you want to do? What makes sense for you? How was your training? Like, did you have robust, crazy training and diverse training? Did you get a, diverse amount of cases? What does the locum assignment expect from you? Are you comfortable with those things? Are they willing to teach? Do you have time to jump into an OB conference or a regional conference? Right? Like, I'm actually probably going to go to some regional conferences as well. You again, you can have, if you sign W-2, you'll have CME money that you can use to go. If not, as a S Corp or LLC, you can write it off, right? But you guys, you can do whatever you want. Okay. You can do what you want. It depends on your comfort level. Can you handle it? Can you do it? Have you ran your own room a lot in your program? Did you have kind of a more independent program where you were just like, fly little birdie, fly and go, right? What I will say though is get as much information about the facility as you can. I definitely recommend shadowing and visiting places because not all offices and surgery centers are created equal. Okay. A big thing you have to have if you're going to go locums and go more independent and doing your own thing, you really got to have that thick skin in a strong backbone, right? That's going to continue to be developed as you go. But you're going to have to like really be able to stand up for yourself and the patient and stuff like that. Cause a lot of these places, they like to push things, right? And you got to be like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. Okay. So just some things to think about. You also want to work with, I'm very picky when I do offices and things like that with the nurses and the surgeons, because again, I've definitely been places too where the nurses have kind of made me nervous. I'm like, I don't like this, right? Like not every provider and person is created equal, right? We're all different. So yes, you can do it if you want, do it, but just do your homework. Okay. And at CRNA Wellness IG, I talk a lot more about like mom life and 1099 life and things like that. So definitely I've got some posts and some stuff on that. You also have to be willing to be extremely flexible, extremely humble. Can't be scared to ask for help if you need it. But a lot of people jump into that post school and they do just fine. Okay. So it's an option. You can do it, but know thyself. You got to know. I've like been recording videos today. I'm like, I think I've said self-awareness like 20 times. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses. They're both are equally as important to actually know that. And again, what is best for you? What is best for your life? What fits with the lifestyle? I bend my career to fit my life. My life comes first now, especially as a mom, kids, wife. I'm in a different phase of life. Like my life comes first. I don't bend myself around a career. I bend my career to fit my life now. So you get to do that. And for the same thing, I'm going to link this other question. What is the work-life balance like as a CRNA? You choose. You get to decide. There's a lot of opportunities right now, right? Again, I bend my career to fit the season I'm in, to fit the values and to fit what I'm looking for in the ever-changing seasons of life, right? So here's what I did. And by no means does anybody have to do this, but here's just something that I did when I got out of school. I mean, in my training, we did work a lot alone. We kind of had our home base and we were essentially basically staff and we did PD dental and did all the rooms. We did spines, everything, right? And we would a lot of times run our own room. Okay. I did a lot of regional. I did a lot of MAC in my program. Okay. So my goals, I was not married at the time. I was coming back to Illinois. I wanted money and I wanted autonomy. That's what I wanted. So, I mean, I had to drive super, super far. That was the thing is I had like basically a 3 to 4 hour commute every day, 2.5, 3, 4 hours possibly commute every day. But that's what I wanted. Okay. So I made good money. I had a ton of autonomy. I didn't do a lot of OB or anything like that, but basically did my own thing, did a bunch of blocks, really quick turnovers. I was at a hospital with high acuity. The patients were, it was like bread and butter cases, but these patients were like sick. They were not optimized. It was a great experience. So then I did that for about 2 years, but 6 months in, I wanted to start checking out offices. My friend was like, hey, I go to this endo office. It's a good way to kind of like dip your toes in. I'm like, cool. So I basically did 5/8 and I switched to 4/10s, and I would actually work Saturdays. And sometimes I'd work that whatever day I had off during the week because I did 4/10s, and I would just go to an office and I started to work by myself until I got kind of comfortable being solo completely as the only anesthesia provider by myself. And then from there, when the commute got too much, I got married, my life changed, right? Seasons changed. Then I jumped into doing surgery center work. And then I got pregnant a couple years after that, or a year or so after that. I got back into a full-time W-2, but then I also did some 1099. So I did some call shifts, W-2, I did some 1099, did that. And then finally last year, because life got super messy in 2024 for me, it was a disaster. I needed full control over my schedule. I had to have it because life was not kind at the moment. And so I just jumped in and did full 1099. Okay. But for me, that foundation, those 2 years outside of school when I was working with really sick patients, super high turnovers, it was crazy, a lot of autonomy, a lot of skills. It did serve me well. However, I did not do a bunch of OB, and I had to relearn OB like 2 years later. And I relearned it and it was fine. It was a month of being very humbled and miserable. And I was like, oh my God, this sucks. But then it was fine. Okay. So you can also relearn things as you go, guys. You're a human, right? You're an ever evolving, changing human. Okay. So yes, you can do it. But my work-life balance is great now. I work 3 to 4 days a week. I pick up call shifts maybe 1 to 2 times a month. I love it. I get to pick my own schedule. It's great. Okay. And a lot of that is like networking and meeting people. I mean, I like literally both my neighbors have friends that are plastic surgeons, and I've worked for both of them, like just from my neighbors. Oh, I think my neighbor's a CRNA with something anesthesia, right? So you never know, right? You never know. And even networking with people in the hospital who docs that want to do stuff in their office. Hey, you want to I can do anesthesia in your office, right? So there's so many opportunities, guys. Okay. So many. Okay. You get to decide. Let me see. Next question. I think we're almost done here. A couple more questions. Are you supported and respected at a CRNA only facility? I would say for the most part, yes. When I was that first job I had, CRNAs were highly, highly respected there. It was awesome. The surgeons freaking loved us, and it was great. From there, it's kind of been hit or miss at most places as far as being respected. I actually am working with a group where he's basically CRNA owns the group. It's very heavy CRNA. And we are actually taking over surgery centers who have been just all physicians. It's been all MDAs. And so now it's like all CRNAs. And of course, it's a transition, but I try not to worry so much about the politics of doc versus this. And again, some physicians are always just going to support physicians and have an issue with us, and that's fine. I'm not worried about that part. I'm worried about me and me being able to provide high level good care, right? Like we can talk and politic all we want, but really what matters is how I take care of that patient in the OR. So that's my focus. I focus on just doing my job and doing it well. And if you do that, you will gain respect of people, right? Like just period. Even like walking into new places, I feel like I'm like, oh God, I gotta like show that I can do this. But again, things happen. I try to be personable. I try to be real. This job is incredibly humbling. If you don't want to be humbled, do not be in anesthesia because you will be humbled your entire career, right? And it's fine. And you get thick skin and you deal with it. And the biggest thing for me and kind of the biggest shift that I've really learned about myself from being perfectionist and, wanting to be liked and all these things like that is I don't come to work looking for my significance in my work. I don't come there to make my performance as a provider or if people like me. Like I don't walk into work looking for significance. I walk in with my significance. I'm already worthy and good enough as I am, as an imperfect, messy human. And I'm just going to go in there and do the best I have. But I'm not looking for anybody in that room to make me feel good about myself and to make me be significant. I already own that outside of here. I'm already good with who I am. And I'm constantly evolving and changing and transforming. And I do the best I can. And I think I give a really good anesthetic and I do a really good job. I try to treat everybody respectful. I obviously have my days where I'm cranky and I'm like, just don't talk to me. I'm not in the mood. Put my drapes up, whatever. Right. But for the most part, I try to be independent and get my own stuff and clean my space up and you know what I mean? Like all those like little things that matter. So you will get respect when you respect yourself and when you are honest and when you are humble and when you just focus on being of service and taking good care of the patients. But yes, I have to say, as we have taken over some of these facilities that have been doc only, they love us. Like they love us as CRNAs. We just have kind of that nursing, we're just like nurses first and it's just a different energy. It's not bad. It's not, they're not bad. We're not good. Like, right. It's just different. And I think that there's just room for everybody. There's room for docs and us to be at the table. Like just, it's fine. Worry about yourself, right? Mind your business. And again, what I did when I got out of school is I thought about myself as a business, right? And I don't care if you're 1099, I was actually W-2 at this job, but you are your own CRNA business. So I really want you to think about, we do this in my coaching program all the time. What values and standards do you want to hold yourself to? What kind of CRNA do you want to be? Like you get to decide that and you get to walk in that and you get to start building your own practice when you get out of school and building your own toolkit and you're going to take your stuff from your nursing career. Like everything counts, y'all. Right. And you will, if you're listening to this and you're in CRNA school and you're like, I just can't anymore. Right. Yes, you can keep building your toolbox because you are going to get to use it and employ it one day. Right. But think of yourself when I walk in to any room, any place, I am my own business. What values and standards are your business? Right. And again, I like asking my colleagues what they do. Like, I like asking my colleagues, like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, I still change things up in my practice. I was doing a bunch of awake intubations. Now I like pull everyone deep, or I do like little things, right? Or any tips that they have with blocks or what they do. I'm constantly like, it's a super fun career. So stay engaged, be flexible, stay humble, respect yourself. And of course, you will be respected if you respect your business and you show up as a business entity and as the provider and the leader that you came here to be, right? Because you have something unique that I don't have, right? And we need all of it there. So I kind of like went a bunch of directions, but hopefully that was super helpful. All right. My spouse is in CRNA school. How do I best support them? Well, first of all, I have a couple amazing podcasts that talk about that. So definitely check those out. I will link the episodes here. But I think it's going into it knowing, like as marriage, you got to learn to be a team, right? Something could be hard because it's like two individuals trying to like be on the same team. And sometimes you want to like, I don't know, push your team member or something like that. I won't say anything more violent, but sometimes you just want to be like, right? It can be a lot sometimes. Okay. But knowing that the teamwork might be a little uneven, right? It might be a little uneven for these 3 years. I think a lot of grace to each other, a lot of compassion, figuring things out together. I think speaking up for what your needs are before they get too bad and you're exploding on each other. Planning time together at least once a week. You guys have to have time together, whether it's date night in the morning, whatever it may be, one day a week, put that aside for time for y'all. And I think knowing it's going to be messy and you guys just going to have to kind of figure it out semester to semester, week by week, day by day, and just loving on them, right? You're doing a good job. I know this is hard. And also recognize that it's hard for you too, right? Like it's hard for both of you. But remembering it's for a season. Have a really strong support system in place. Use your support system. Communicate. The worst thing you can do is letting resentment and bitterness build up. Because I've been there before and that is tough. It's tough to get over. It's tough to deal with. So talk about the hard stuff, bring things up. I mean, obviously not maybe in the middle of finals week, like kind of show some awareness there. But hey, when you got a second or a break from, I really need to talk to you about something. Like just learn to tackle things like head on in good timing. Okay. And both of you have to understand that each of you is doing your best. And not all days, we don't wake up with the same moods, attitudes, energy every single day, right? It's just going to be a ride, right? But just give that person the understanding that they are doing their best and they're not here to hurt you, right? It's just for a season. and focus and prioritize on what needs are important, knowing that you just can't have it all right now in this moment. But what is important in this season? What do you need from them? And just being able to give that to each other when you can. And just love each other, right? Just love on each other, even when you want to, you know, to the other person. Okay. Okay. But yes, watch my marriage podcast episode, listen to it. So good. Like the couple was so vulnerable and so amazing. And I actually think she's graduating from school very soon now. So super exciting, but definitely check that out. And I think this is the last question is, do I have any regrets about becoming a CRNA? No. Personally, for me, no. My time in CRNA school was wretched. I can link that in the show notes as well. I thought about even just putting it up on the podcast, but it was rough. But I don't regret it. It took me a while to get to the place where it was worth it. I remember I was just driving in my car one day and a song came on that I had listened to at like 4 a.m. going into clinical crying because I was like, this, I can't, like, this sucks. In those cold New England mornings. And all of a sudden I just started, like, this overwhelmingly thing hit me like, oh my God, I would do it again. I would do it again. And that didn't happen like the day after I graduated or my first day of the work. It happened like 6 months later after I started working, but it was worth it. I do love what I do. I love the flexibility in my schedule. I love the skills that we're able to perform and do. I love that things are constantly evolving and changing. And I like coming up with anesthesia plans and tweaking stuff. I like the hands-on stuff. For the most part, I like the places I work, the people I work with. I really do enjoy and love my life. You're kind of constantly living out of your comfort zone. But you're really just being able to serve others and meet great people. And it's been good for my lifestyle. It's just fun. So I don't have any regrets. It's not easy. It's not always fun. But it's a great career. And even I know so many CRNAs like go get into investments or do aesthetics, or, I mean, it doesn't stop here, right? Like life, again, there's just no real arrival. Like there's milestones that you get to, there's setbacks, there's milestones, but like you never just land somewhere and you're like, oh, I figured it all out. I got it. No, like you just have these moments. Like right now, things are really good for me right now. I just got out of a really hard, nasty, rough, terrible season. And right now things are really good, but life is going to get crazy again, right? Like you just got to keep rolling with it. And I think that this career and this path, and I think mentoring and coaching has just taught me that, right? Like we just keep going. We just journey. The journey is where you are right now. Right. And really being present with that, knowing the season you're in, and also knowing the impact and having the vision of where you want to go, and really sticking to your values that you do have and holding on to them when things get rough and things get crazy, and that setbacks are nothing but setups or something greater. Something fun. So yeah, I don't have any regrets, but it wasn't always fun. So, okay. All right. I hope that was helpful. Like I said, little different episode than what I normally do, but I just thought, you know what? I've got all these questions. Let me throw it out there. If you like this episode, let me know. I can do more like this of just answering questions. And I will get that dealing with difficult personalities. Be on the lookout for that podcast. It's going to be good. We coach on it a lot. It's going to change the game. And I'm here for y'all. Check out the show notes, check out the YouTube description for the links that I mentioned. And I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day wherever you are listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. I so appreciate you. Goodbye for now.